Okay, this next bit is more of a philosophical thing. Um, you really need to know how to use methods to make your life easier. So, one of the ways that methods make our life easier is you really want to get in a habit of don't solve a problem that's already solved. In programming, you should really only have to ever solve a problem once. And then and it may take you a week to solve this problem or a month. But once you've solved this problem, it's solved. Never, ever, ever solve that problem again. Just call that method. And eventually, you want to get to the point where you never solve a problem that someone else has solved. If a method already exists out there that solves a particular problem, use it. Now, yes, in this class, we're going to do a little bit of reinventing the wheel just to get your programming chops. But in the real world, when you're actually doing real work, methods are nice because you do the thing once and then you never have to deal with it again because all you have to do is call that method. Now, there's also something called top-down design. Now, what top-down design is you stumble across a problem and you go, okay, this is this big, nasty problem. Like, we're doing some basic programs. We're printing "Hello World." We're doing all of that, and then we're having to make this big leap to trying to make this huge game or programming Snapchat or whatever. And students go, I don't see how I could ever do this big nasty program. And the thing is, you probably never will. And I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that because most programmers work in a team. So what you do is take this huge problem, and as a team, you say, well, we need to solve this first, and then we need to be able to do this, and then we need to be able to do this. And you break the problem down into chunks. That's a problem-solving strategy always. But once you break it down into chunks, then all of a sudden you can say, well, you do this method, you do this method, you do this method. And you've broken that into these chunks where all you need to do is have individuals work on these methods. So a lot of times in this class, you might get frustrated where you're like, well, why aren't we writing this whole program? Well, most programming is solving a very specific problem that becomes a cog in a big machine. So that's how we're smart about using methods. Is we use it to not repeat our code, not resolve problems, but also to break down a problem into smaller pieces. The other nice thing is, let's say you finish this big, nice project and you have to maintain it. It makes it so much easier to read your code and maintain your code. And whenever you do a new project, you'll start seeing that some of the problems that you have are the same, and you can reuse methods that you've done. So good method use is really key to becoming a good programmer.